Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu class for Bhakti Shastri. Hare Krishna. We will start with Mangalacharan prayers. I can share my screen. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिद्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। I will share this screen and we can start. So welcome to Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu discussion with Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu composed by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Nectar of Devotion, summary study by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We will sing the dedication verses to the Shat Goswamis. I will just sing, you can also sing on mute. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripabharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Paravahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Yaghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Saranyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Now we can recite the memorization verses. If you would like, you can unmute and follow. Anya-bhilashita shunyam
Anya-bhilashita shunyam
Karmadyanavritam
Jnana-karmadyanavritam
Yena Krishnanu
Hanukulena Krishnanu
Danam Bhaktiruttama
Śrīlanam
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu
Bhakti-uttamam
Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam
Sarvapati-vinimuktam
Sarvopadi-vinirmuktam
Tatparatvena nirmalam
Tatparatvena
Tatparatvena
nirmalam
nirmalam
Rishikena Rishikesha
Rishikena
Rishikena
Rishikesha
Rishikesha
Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate
Sevanam
Sevanam
Bhaktiruchyate
Bhaktir-uchyate
Tah Shri Krishna Namadi
Tat
Atah
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Namadi
Na
Namadi
Bhaved Grahyamindriyai
Na
Na
Bhave
Bhavet
Grahyam
Grahayam
Indrayam
Indriyai
Devonmukhe hi Jivhado
Devon
Devonmukhe
Mukhe
Jivado
Jivado
Svayameva Suratyadaha
Swayameva
Swayameva Swarajataha
Swaradaha
Anasaktasya Vishayan
Anasakta
Anasakta
Vishaya
Yatharham
Vishayam
Upayunjataha
Yatharam
Yadharayunjadaha
Upayunjataha
Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe
Nirbandha
Nirbandha
Krishna
Krishna
Sambandhe
Sambandhe
Tam Vairagyamuchyate.
Yuktam
Yuktam Vairagyam
Vairagyamuchyate
Muchyate.
Okay, thank you. Now we will start with the content today. So last time we completed till Dasyam, and now we will start with Sakhyam. So I will share again. Okay, so this is item number 48. Sakhya. So Sakhya means lords or being a friend of the Lord, or acting in the mood of friendship to the Lord. So that is Sakhyam. So this is described in 6 verses in Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ from 188, second chapter. We are in the Sadhan Bhakti chapter, 188 to 193. And Sri Rupa Goswami describes 2 aspects of Sakhyam: vishvasa and mitra vritti. Okay, so this is a little bit technical, like Dasyam last time, but I will go over it quickly and then I will summarize how we can understand Sakhyam. Okay, so vishvas. So the verse, 188th verse, Sri Rupa Goswami is defining Sakhyam. So what he says is that vishvaso mitra vrittischa Sakhyam dvividham iritam. Iritam means it is said. So Sakhyam is said to be of 2 types. So Sakhyam, iritam, dvividham. You can think of Sakhyam is said to be iritam of 2 types. Dvividham. Vishvaso, number 1. Number 2, mitra vritti. So what does it mean? Vishvasa, there are multiple terms, and there are no direct translations in English of the true meaning. So there are several words which convey the essence. So I have picked some of them. Trust. Vishwas means trust, faith, or belief, that I believe that, or I have full confidence that so and so. I have vishwas. So it's like, for a devotee, he has vishwas that the Lord will protect him. So he has the belief, or he has the confidence, he has the trust or faith in the Lord that the Lord will protect. For example, so I'm just saying, so vishwas. So in this case, what does it mean, vishwas as a friend? Okay, so it is not as that vishwas rakshishyati iti vishwaso. It will come later that the Lord will protect me. That is not the kind of vishwas. As a friend, a friend of the Lord doesn't look for the Lord's protection. Okay, so what is the meaning of vishwas here? That I know, or I have confidence that what my friend likes, what does he wants, what are his likes and dislikes, what he desires. I can predict his thoughts. That is a close friend, very close friend. So think about some close friend of yours, and you have the confidence of what he wants. So even without him asking for it, you will arrange for, if you invite a very close friend to your home for lunch, you don't need to ask him what to cook for you. You know what he likes. So you will already cook, and you know he will like that. You have that confidence, you have that belief. So this is about that kind of confidence. Now, there is an aspect of servitude in Sakhya. So like Uddhavji is considered as Sakhya mixed with Dasya. So serving, looking out for the happiness of the friend. So as a friend, you're not just having a fun time, but you're also looking out for their happiness, what he wants. So there is an element of dasya, of servitude included here. And Srila Prabhupada translates this aspect of vishvasa as a confidential servant of the Lord. Confidential servant means that servant knows what my master wants, but it's almost like a friend. Okay, so even though confidential servant doesn't include the notion of friendship, but it is obviously Srila Prabhupada has given it under friendship, Sakhya. So there is it's like a confidential friend of the Lord. So that is the first meaning. Okay, that is vishvas. So I hope I have explained. I will explain a little bit more in the next few slides based on the verses of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Next is mitra-vritti. So mitra-vritti means just an attitude of friendship. So this is more like just a friend. Okay. So, and this one is like Srila Prabhupada translates, a well-wisher of the Lord. So as a friend, so now as a friend, you are almost like a peer. That aspect of dasya is a little bit removed, and this is a little bit elevated in the sense of pure friendship, peer-to-peer friendship, where you can, as you might have read in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the friends of Kṛṣṇa, they would, climb on top of each other and fight with each other, and that kind of friendship. So yes, the vishvas also is present there, but at a certain time it may be vishvas, but at a certain other time it may be this aspect of peer-to-peer, and I will show how to, based on some of the Acharya's commentaries, I will show how to blend these two in a future slide. But these are the two aspects. So a friend may exhibit these aspects, or a devotee who feels in the mood of a friend may exhibit these aspects based on the time, place, circumstance. Sometimes like could be in the mood of a confidential servant, sometimes just like a peer-to-peer friend in a full enjoyment mode. So that is mitra vrittihi. Now, so those are the two aspects of friendship. Now, some aspects about friendship itself, about this limb of bhakti. So please remember that what are we discussing right now? It is number 48 of what? What is the big picture here? Anybody recalls? Step back and tell me, what are we discussing?
Limb of bhakti?
Limb of bhakti. Okay, there is one key aspect missing in what you said. Who else can tell? Come on. Limb of
mind.
Okay, these are limbs performed at this level of mind. That is true. One more thing. Limb of dash bhakti.
Sakya Bhakti.
No, Sakhya is the limb itself, which we are discussing.
Smaran.
No,
Attitude.
Uttama Bhakti.
Uttama Bhakti.
no.
No.
So if we go way back into the beginning of the chapter, what is the name of the chapter? What is the name of this chapter we are in? Not Nectar of Devotion chapter, but Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu chapter.
Serving
Transcendental service.
with the Sakhyam. Service with the Sakhyam.
No. So, okay. So we are in the Sadhan Bhakti chapter. Remember, first chapter of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu was Samanya Bhakti, then Sadhan Bhakti, third chapter is Bhav Bhakti, and fourth chapter is Prema Bhakti. And there the Purva Vibhag or Eastern division ends. So we are in the Sadhan Bhakti, and Sadhan Bhakti is divided into two parts. Okay, what are the two parts in which it is divided?
Vaidhi, sadhan, bhakti, and prema.
Vaidhi and Raga.
Very good. Vaidhi sadhan bhakti and Raganuga sadhan bhakti. Very nice. So these 64 limbs are limbs of which one? They are the limbs of Vaidhi sadhan bhakti. So basically, one thing that we need to understand is that these are the 64 limbs of bhakti, and it is being described how to do bhakti as per the rules and regulations. Like it was described that whenever the deity arrives, you must stand up. So, or you must do parikrama of the deity 4 times, or so many other limbs have been described. So it is the rule book. You can think of it like the rule book of Vaidhi Bhakti. Now, from the discussion of Raganuga Bhakti, we understand that Raganuga Bhakti does not need, by definition, it does not need a rule book. Okay, so that is where I was getting to. So this is the 48th limb of bhakti, correct? It is also the limb of bhakti performed at the level of the mind. That is also correct. It is also a limb of uttama bhakti. That is also correct. It is also a limb of sadhan bhakti. That is also correct. But if we keep going down and in the categories, ultimately it is the limbs, one of the limbs of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi means as per the rules and regulations, as per the injunctions. Because there is no raga yet, there is no inherent attachment to Bhagwan yet. So for such people, Vaidhi Bhakti is recommended so that they can follow the rules and regulations. Okay. Now, the point that is going to be made is that friendship or this Sakhya is actually a limb of Raga Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti. Have you ever, how many of you have some close friend in your life? I have some close friends in my life, and I'm sure many of you have close friends in your life. Did you read a rule book to become their close friend? Which rule did you read?
No.
No, Prabhuji, no rule.
No rule book. Correct. So friendship happens similarly with love, madhurya, or for parenting. Well, these days there are a lot of parenting books. But in the old days, parents used to parent their children just fine. And there was no rule book. So you don't need technically a rule book. So this Sakhya Bhava or this Sakhya limb is technically a limb of Raganuga Bhakti, but in some very rare cases, it is included as part of Vaidhi as well. But it is very rare, very, very rare. So that is what is going to be explained in the next couple of slides. So rarity of Sakhyam. Okay. So understanding Sakhya is complex. And if you read some of these commentaries by acharyas, it is not the easiest one to understand, at least from my standpoint. So what has been explained by the acharyas, and I have given all the references here of the verses, that it is very rare in sadhak devotees, this level of sakhya, to be a friend of the Lord is very, very rare at the level of sadhaka. It is more prominently found in siddha devotees. Sadhak and siddha means sadhak means practitioner, siddha means expert or the perfected, one who have achieved the perfection. So this is mainly executed at the level of siddha bhaktas who have achieved perfection in their sadhana. So for sadhak devotees, it is fairly rare. Because it requires, why is it rare? Because it requires a very advanced level of qualification, a very elevated level of bhava or love for Lord Krishna, which by definition is sadhak. Sadhak is a practitioner, which means he is on the path. He has not reached the finish line. So that is not present at that beginner or medium level. It's at a very advanced level. So this limb of bhakti, only those who are qualified are siddhas or almost siddhas. Almost siddha. There are Sanskrit terms in the verses for each of these things that I have omitted right now in interest of time. But if you go through these verses, you will clearly see the Sanskrit terms for these. So only those sadhakas who are almost siddhas are qualified for this limb. And this limb is very rarely found in Vaidhi Bhaktas and is primarily seen in Raganuga Bhaktas. And Raganuga Bhaktas don't need any rule book. They don't need any recipe. Okay, so a couple of examples have been given in 189th verse. So the example is given of Draupadi. And it is written that she is at the level of prema. And yet she performs this limb of sadhana bhakti. So this is a point we were making yesterday in the Bhagavatam class also, that the limbs of bhakti are performed even at the siddha stage. At the siddha stage, they perform it out of love, out of bhava or prema. At the sadhana stage, we performed it because somebody has told us, you must do it. If you do it properly, you will attain prema. So we do it out of a rule or an injunction, but the siddha devotees do it naturally, or they do it out of love. So it is a verse from the Mahabharata where it is mentioned that Draupadi is saying that to the Lord that I consider you my friend, and all these tribulations that I am suffering, she was suffering a lot of tribulations. I am just enduring, remembering you as my friend and my friend, that you will take care of me as a friend. So that is the quote from Mahabharata. Shri Hariparsad Prabhu has a nice series on the 64 limbs of bhakti, where he goes through each limb in detail along with Acharya commentaries. So I was listening to those. And he says this verse is not traceable in the current editions of Mahabharata. So, and I also tried searching, I could not find it. But this verse is mentioned by Sri Rupa Goswami in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. And it is called out to be from Mahabharata, but somehow it cannot be found in Mahabharata. That's fine. Next, 190th verse is an example of Uttama Bhaktas, saying that it's, for example, Sudama, it's a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, saying that they never forget the lotus feet of the Lord, even in exchange for ruling over the entire universe. So they always stay close to the Lord. They always want to stay with the Lord, at the lotus feet of the Lord. And even if they are given the ruling, the kingship of the whole universe, they will never leave the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is the advanced, that's the very advanced level of these devotees. And that is the advancement one needs, or that is given for this Sakhya stage. Okay, so I hope this is clear that it is very rare, and primarily it is found in the Raganuga Bhaktas. Then another point that is mentioned is vishvas. So we are in the vishvas topic versus shraddha. So we have studied that we just said vishvas is like faith. We also know shraddha is faith. Correct? But shraddha was a qualification to enter into bhakti, if you remember. So how is it that a entry criteria is given as a limb of bhakti itself? That was an entry criteria to enter into bhakti. And now once you have entered bhakti, you are being asked to practice that limb itself. It's like, you know, you are supposed to know, I don't know, let me give an example. Think of trigonometry. To learn calculus. Okay. Now in the calculus class, so you know trigonometry, they took a test. You got passing marks, or you proved that you know trigonometry. Now they are trying to teach you calculus. Now in calculus, they are teaching you trigonometry itself. How is that making sense? I already, that was the entry criteria. So there is a difference. So the point is vishvasa and shraddha, even though at a superficial level appear to be synonyms, there is a difference between the two. Okay. Vishvasa is is a very, very advanced level of shraddha. When the shraddha that is mentioned, that is needed to qualify one to enter into bhakti, that Shraddha is a much weaker level of Shraddha. This vishvas at the Sakhya level is 100%, is like very, very mature, very strong level of Shraddha. And this vishvasa comes with it brings out that full form of bhakti, which is known as prema bhakti. So at that level of vishwas, or that level of vishwas can only come when the relationship is full of love with the friend. So Shraddha is an entry criteria and Vishwas is an advanced limb of bhakti. So basically, even though they may sound like synonyms, there is a difference, a huge difference in the level of maturity of the faith between Vishwas and Shraddha. Vishwas is very, very strong level of faith, or that belief that you know who your friend is, who Bhagavan is. You have you have almost full knowledge of the mood, of the likes and dislikes, of the thoughts of Bhagavan. Now we go to the second type of Sakhya, which is Mitra Vritti. So this is more at a very peer-to-peer level. And it is mentioned that in this verse, 192nd verse from the Agastya Samhita, that a devotee who out of friendship treats the Lord as a human. So first of all, that is the aspect. He forgets the godliness of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is just like another human. Okay? And then he wants to behave with him in a friendly manner. And the example that is given is that he lies down with him or next to him in the temple. Just like a friend, you know, how many of you have had sleepovers with your friends? Or your children have had sleepovers, you know, they like, this is the most fun thing that children do, you know, just keep talking all night and then just doze off in the same bed. So that's known as a sleepover. So it's a very fun activity between friends. And that is the mood of this friend. So he lies down in the temple of the Lord. But we know that lying down in the temple, we read earlier, is a seva aparadha. So the whole point that this is being shown here is that there is no regard for rules and regulations in this limb of bhakti as described in this verse. And therefore, it falls in the level of Raganuga Bhakti, where some of the rules and regulations, it is okay to violate them in the spirit of a higher level of love. So in this Sakhya Bhav, or in this mood of friendship, it's okay to lie down in the temple, thinking the Lord to be a friend. So that's what is mentioned, that friendship is spontaneous. This level of friendship is spontaneous and it cannot be executed by following rules and regulations. Till Dasya Bhav, you can have rules and regulations. And there also at the advanced stages, like Hanumanji as a Das, does not need rules and regulations. But you can all imagine a servant may need a rule book. Like if you hire a servant, you give him a rules, like, you know, 9 o'clock you do this, 10 o'clock you do this, 11 o'clock start cooking the lunch. Lunch should be on my table at 12 o'clock. You give him a set of instructions, rules, all those things. So till Dasya Bhava, Dasya is sort of the intermediate stage where, you know, rules can then go into Raganuga. But Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya are completely in the spontaneous level. There is absolutely no scope or not much scope for rules. So friendship is spontaneous and it cannot be executed by following rules and regulations. And in the 193rd verse, which is the last verse of this limb, Sri Rupa Goswami says that the above, where the devotee was lying down in the temple, is an example of Raganuga Bhakta. So he claims, or he admits that it is Raganuga Bhakti. And he says that in but some very, very rare cases, a Vaidhi Bhakta who is maybe transitioning from Vaidhi to Raganuga because Raga has developed in his heart, may also show the symptoms of this kind of Sakhyarati or love for the Lord as a friend. Okay. So in very, very rare cases. Okay, so this was the theory. I know it was too much. So here is a summary of Sakhyam from our perspective. From all the understanding, I was struggling myself with this for many weeks as I was reading, but finally I sort of managed to put it into some few bullets, a summary that is my takeaway, my personal takeaway. And I'm sharing it with you, and hopefully you can also benefit from it. Okay. So summary of Sakhyam is that Sakhya is a close friend of the Lord. One who knows, this is the vishvas aspect, one who knows the Lord's mood, thoughts, likes and dislikes well. Okay. Then the mitra-vritti bhav, one who looks out for the Lord's welfare, like a friend, to ensure his happiness. Okay. Just like a close friend in our lives. So now how do we combine these two aspects? I have put it in a sort of a sentence that whatever I will do for Krishna's happiness, I am sure he will accept it. So that kind of a mood. So there is the aspect of vishvas also. There is also an aspect of friendship. And there is also an element of servitorship or dasya, to serve the Lord, to look out for his happiness. So that is sort of the way I have tried to summarize this Sakhya limb of bhakti. And obviously such a relationship cannot be developed by following a rule book. It is gradually developed out of spontaneity, and it thickens over time. And here is the final thought, that as sadhakas, and I am definitely a beginner, very, very low-level sadhak, we should not be much concerned with this limb of bhakti. So I have just understood it and put it on the shelf. So maybe many of you can do that as well. So it is good to have a nice understanding of it, but this is something, at least I have told myself, is theoretical for me, and I will, not much that I can execute or act upon at this point in my spiritual progress. Okay, any questions? Okay, so let's move to the 49th limb, atma-nivedanam. So offering one's self. Now this also is exactly in the same way as the previous one. These two are primarily seen in Raganuga Bhaktas. Okay, to completely surrender oneself to the Lord is again not part of a rule book. So this is not seen, it's very rarely seen in Raganuga, in Vaidhi or in Sadhakas. It is seen in Siddhas. So again, 5 verses are there, 194 to 198. And what is the meaning of atma-nivedanam? Please try to understand carefully. There are several terms which can get mixed up. So atma-nivedanam has a very specific meaning. It has a very specific, tight meaning. So let me share that with you. So first of all, devotee who has done atma-nivedanam, who has completely offered oneself, or you can say surrendered oneself to the Lord, he gives up all activities of material maintenance. All activities of material maintenance, completely gives up. And he offers himself entirely to Sri Kṛṣṇa, completely. Kṛṣṇa arranges for the maintenance of such a devotee. If Kṛṣṇa would not arrange, this devotee would die. Okay, so he is completely at the maintenance of Kṛṣṇa. No active self-maintenance done by the devotee. Absolutely not. The devotee completely stops at the atma-nivedanam stage. He stops all self-maintenance. No going out and looking for food, shelter, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. So in the next slide, I will share a little bit of how it might look externally and what the devotee is thinking internally. But I hope you understand that the devotee completely stops all activities of self-maintenance and completely becomes surrendered to the Lord. So this is a very, very advanced stage of bhakti, very advanced limb. And just like Sakhyam, it is very rare and is not for most. And most means like 99.999999. Most doesn't mean like 70%. It's more like 99.999999% of the sadhakas. It's for siddhas. Because it requires an extremely, extremely high level of faith on Kṛṣṇa. So externally, what is this devotee doing? He is basically sitting or standing or lying down, I don't know. But basically he's like idle, waiting to be maintained by the Lord. And it's not also that he's expecting to be maintained. He is just externally, he's just there. Just like a cow who is tied by a rope or a baby in a cradle. Even this case, baby cries also. When the baby is hungry, it will cry. So that is its way of saying, give me food. So there is a difference. In the atma-nivedanam stage, the devotee doesn't even cry. Absolutely nothing. So there is a slight difference there even. Even the baby is more demanding than the atma-nivedana devotee. All right. Or even the cow. I don't know, if you don't give hay to the cow for 3 days, it might also start shouting or start getting agitated. Okay. But that is the mood that unless the master or the mother comes and gives, it will not even eat anything. Internally, what is the devotee thinking? That's also very important. So this is external, that my body and soul are completely surrendered to the Lord. Okay. The intention is to please the Lord. It is not like a burden. Okay, aa gaye hum. Ab, now I am your burden. You have to take care of me. It's not like that, uninvited guest. So that is not the meaning of atma-nivedanam. Now I'm a burden on you. It's your job to maintain me. Not at all like that. The devotee is not expecting to be maintained even. He is completely surrendered because he knows that it is a limb of bhakti and it will please the Lord. This mood will please the Lord, that I am completely under your care now. So again, I have kind of put a mood in a quote. So he gives up his entire identity and says that I am nobody. So that whole identity, when it is a burden, it could be like, hey, I am your friend. Now I have come, you treat me well. So I am your so-and-so, I am your friend, I am your whatever, I am your devotee. So, see that other guy, he is not your devotee, but I am your devotee. Now you have to, because I am that, you have to maintain me. That is that there is that ahankar as well. So that identity is there. In this case, that no identity is there. I am nobody, and you are free to treat me as you wish. And if you don't want to maintain me or treat me, that's also fine. I will happily die. So that is the mood of the atma-nivedana devotee. I hope you all understand. Okay, so no external activity of self-maintenance, complete stoppage and complete dependence on the Lord. And the prime example here is that of Bali Maharaj. After he was, the Lord put his third foot on his head, and Bali Maharaj immediately said that, okay, now, I have, lost all my possessions in the first 2 steps. And my own self now I have given to you. Now you can treat me as you wish. So complete atma-nivedanam. And the Lord was very happy with that. All right. Any questions on Atma-nivedan? Okay. So Atma-nivedan can also be mixed with other rasas. So pure Atma-nivedana is found in Bali Maharaj, as we just saw or briefly saw. Then Atma-nivedan mixed with dasya is found in Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was also completely surrendered to Bhagavan, but as a dasya, as a servant. So, and then Atma-nivedanam mixed with Madhurya is exemplified by Mother Rukmini, where she was also completely, when she wrote a letter to Lord Kṛṣṇa, now you come and take me. I am now completely, if you want, you can come and take me. Because when Rukmi, her brother, was planning to get her married to this demon, Shishupal, so she did not want that, and she was in love with Lord Kṛṣṇa. She wrote a letter saying that, please come and take me. If you want, you can come. If you don't want, I will give up. My life is, is gone. So she had completely given herself to Shri Kṛṣṇa. So there, Atma-nivedanam is mixed in the Madhurya bhava. And it can be mixed with other rasas as well. So that is just another point. Okay. So as we discussed, Atma-nivedana and Sakhya are very, very advanced limbs of bhakti, very much in the Raganuga, found in Raganuga bhaktas, and very rarely, very, very rarely found in general, even so more in Vaidhi bhaktas. If at all it is found in Raganuga bhaktas, who themselves are very rare category by itself. But so it is very rare. Now we come back to a little bit more practical limbs. Okay, so we had to discuss these two, 48 and 49. It's part of our series. So we discussed it. But again, in the same spirit, I would keep it on the side for myself. I am nowhere at a level of even considering or understanding or, at the Sakhya or Atma-nivedan level. And many devotees could be at that level. So we can understand it as much as possible and put it on the side. Okay. Now, again, back to more practical things. Very practical one, this one. Nija-priya-upaharaṇaṁ. So, nija-priya-upaharaṇaṁ. Upaharaṇaṁ, like upahar, means a gift. Or you give something to the Lord. What do you give to the Lord? Something that you don't like. Something which is a waste. Something which is you have no use left for. There is a famous Hari Parshad Prabhu quotes this, like, somebody was going to, like, what you call the chiuda, puffed rice, beaten puffed rice. So he was going to eat it. So it was there in his palm. Okay. And as you can imagine, it's very lightweight. And the wind came and blew it away. So he was about to eat it and the wind came and blew it away. So nothing is left in his hand. So then this person says, I offer that puffed rice to you, oh my Lord. Okay, because so that is more like a very, very nonsensical way of offering, because you couldn't have it because it was wasted. Now you offer it to the Lord. So it's not like that. Nija-priya. Nija-priya means something which is very dear to you. Nija means myself and priya means dear. So something that is very dear to you, you offer that to the Lord. So that is the meaning. So only one verse is there, 199th verse, which is verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:11:41. So offering articles dear to oneself, that is the meaning. Nija-priya-upaharaṇaṁ. So whatever is most dear to the devotee, or whatever is most dear to Kṛṣṇa. It may not be dear to you, but if it is dear to Kṛṣṇa, let's say somebody doesn't like butter. Hey, but Kṛṣṇa is the favorite thing is butter. So you may not like it. That's okay. But you can still offer to Kṛṣṇa. Best is if you can find something which there's like both. You also like, Kṛṣṇa also likes, then nothing like it. It's a win-win situation. So there the bhava is, it's not that you can have the butter afterwards, after he has had as prasad, then that's not the bhav. The bhav is, I like it so much, so I will give it to him. Okay. So it's like this, like, just like I have a very nice friend in Bangalore. He keeps telling me all the time, hey, I got this thing and, you should try it. And I got this thing and you should try it. So he's keeps trying all these various things to eat. And he keeps telling me, and he keeps telling me, sending me the Amazon address also, you should try this, try that, try that. So, that's a symptom of a friend or somebody who, loves you or has, very nice feelings for you. He will share what he likes, he will share it with you. So in the same way, whatever the devotee likes, he shares it or he brings it for Krishna. So whatever is most dear to the devotee, give that to Krishna. Okay, not something which is which you didn't like and is of no use to you. So that one you give. That's not the mood. Now the question is, we are still in the limbs of the mind. So how is this one a limb of the mind? Any thoughts? Somebody wants to raise hand and say. How is this a limb of the mind? Yes, Madhuri Mat.
Prabhuji, I'm just guessing, I'm not sure. So is it because when we offer something, we can mental offer as well? We can add things like I'm offering this, I'm this.
Okay, so no, that is Manasi-seva. We covered that last time, mentally offering. But nija-priya-upaharaṇaṁ.
Okay. Then no, Prabhuji, then I don't know.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah. Any other guesses? Yes, Shalom.
Prabhuji, it could be like because of the bhav that we like it so much, so that's why we are offering it to you. Maybe you will also like it.
Yeah, that is correct. Like my friend, I was telling you, he has no reason to send me a text saying, hey, I liked this. You try it also. He liked it. He will have it, finish. Taking that extra step, let me tell my friend also. Like as a father, or many of you are parents, I mean, we love our children the most, or our husband or wife. When you are going out, so it's always to look out. In the mind, the Lord should have a presence at the top of your mind. Just like if you're going shopping. Okay, today I went to Costco. Now, if I see something that my child likes or my wife likes, even though I'm not actually going there to purchase that, but say, this is something she said she wanted from long time. Today it is back in stock. Let me get it. So keeping Krishna in the top of your mind, so that all the time, the moment you see something that Krishna likes, you pick it up. Okay? Because if Krishna is not in your list of priorities in the top of your mind, this will not happen. So Krishna needs to be at the top of your mind so that whenever you see anything that he likes, then you should know, or not know, but then you should acquire it. Otherwise, 2 days later, you will remember,
limb of mind. Limb of mind.
So otherwise, 2 days later, you will remember, I should have got that. I forgot completely. It didn't even strike me. Then you will think it didn't strike. The reason it wouldn't strike you because Krishna is not at the top of your mind. If Krishna is at the top of your mind, it will strike you. So that is the point. That's how it is a limb of the mind. So if I go shopping, I look out for what is dear to me or something that is dear to the Lord, you get it. Don't forget, don't just get it for yourself. Get one for the Lord as well. Or also that whatever you may already have, nija-priya. So not about acquiring, but anything that you may already have, your most dear possession. It could be your house, your car, two standard things we always talk about, or so many other things. that have we used it in this service of the Lord somehow or the other? So we have so many things that we like. You have to find ways to use it for the Lord. Otherwise, they are just sense gratification. Okay. Yes, Shalu Mataji, your hand is raised from previous. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhuji, just from previous.
Sure. You have a question? We'll lower the hand. All right. So that is nija-priya-upaharaṇaṁ. Then we will go to the next limb, which is tad-arthe akhila-ceṣṭitaṃ. So tad-arthe, tad means Bhagavan, Kṛṣṇa. Arthe means for him. Tad-arthe means for his pleasure or for his happiness. Akhila means all, no limits. Akhila-ceṣṭitaṃ means making all efforts. Cheshta means to an effort. So again, only one verse is there, 200. So we have covered, this is our 200 double century, 200th verse of the chapter. Okay, and this is from Sri Narad Pancharatra. Performing all endeavors or acts exclusively for Sri Kṛṣṇa. That is the 200th verse. That's the translation of the summary of the 200th verse. Tad-arthe akhila-ceṣṭitaṃ. So, which means that performing all kinds of efforts, all kinds of acts and endeavors, cheshta. Akhila means all of it, for the happiness or pleasure of the Lord. Tad-arthe. So all, akhila, it's a very important word, all acts, material or Vedic. There are two types of Vedic acts, nitya and naimittika. Nitya means eternal, naimittika means occasional. So all acts, whether material or spiritual, performing them for Kṛṣṇa. So what it means a couple of things. And obviously the acts need to be Hari Seva Anukula, favorable to Hari. Okay, so not all acts. So you cannot be a butcher and say that, I am doing it for Hari. So it has to be Hari Seva Anukula. And what it means is that all the acts need to be performed for Kṛṣṇa. So which means no neutral acts either, and definitely not acts which are unfavorable. Which means cutting out this limb of bhakti, devotees are doing some acts for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa. This one is more about removing everything else, so that all that is left is for Kṛṣṇa. And the second aspect is, when you have cut out all the other acts, how can you imagine? Okay, so first of all, it means giving up the acts that cannot be dovetailed to Kṛṣṇa. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that you stop going to bathroom, like we discussed, like going to the bathroom or washing hands after going to bathroom is not something we can actually offer to Kṛṣṇa. Okay, but you have to, how is this a limb of the mind? Is because it requires intelligence, how to dovetail all acts as bhakti. So again, one can say that, I am maintaining my body. I'm doing my whatever, dincharya. To maintain my body, I go to the bathroom, but that's part of my dincharya. And then I will sit and do my sadhana. So how to dovetail? It requires intelligence to consider how to dovetail all acts as devotional service, as Hari Seva Anukula activity. And also requires creativity. How else can I please the Lord? What else can I do? I want to do more efforts. I have removed so many other activities that I was doing, nonsense activities. Now, what else can I do to please the Lord? So that's what makes it an activity or a limb of bhakti in the mind. So tad-arthe akhila-ceṣṭitaṃ. Okay, any questions? Okay, next one. Now, this is a very important one, śaraṇāpattiḥ. So, śaraṇāpattiḥ means being a surrendered soul. It has multiple names, śaraṇāpattiḥ, śaraṇāgati, and so on. So, again, there are only 2 verses, but they are very important. One is to accept the Lord's shelter. And the other aspect is to accept the Lord's protection. So, śaraṇāpattiḥ. Question is, how is it different from atma-nivedanam? Now this doesn't mean half shelter or half protection. Taking complete shelter and taking complete protection, accepting complete protection of the Lord. So there is a subtle difference. Now, again, it's just nice or sweet to understand the Lord's limbs of bhakti as given by our great acharyas. So agreed, at a high level, there is seems to be an overlap. But if we analyze technically, there is a difference as well. And it's just sweet. It is nice to understand the difference. Ultimately, what you may end up doing in your life may be somewhere like an overlap of śaraṇāpattiḥ and atma-nivedanam, or complete dependence on the Lord. That Lord, whatever you are doing is good for me. You will protect me. Even if I am in some trouble, you will protect. Sometimes devotees have gone to jail because they were distributing books or they were doing something, and the police put them in jail. The devotee said, okay, I'm in jail today. Maybe 6 months later or 6 years later, I will be, set free, or the Lord will protect. And even if the Lord doesn't protect my body, he will protect my bhakti. So that faith being there, accepting the Lord's protection in one way or the other. But how is it, technically speaking, how is it different from atma-nivedanam? So the technical difference is that in śaraṇāpattiḥ, the devotee continues to perform acts of self-maintenance. He does not stop. That is the main difference. Only thing is that he takes shelter of the Lord's protection when some dangers or calamities or suffering or trouble arises. Then he has full faith that the Lord will protect. Okay. So self-maintenance activities he continues to do. In atma-nivedanam, that's much, much higher, where he completely is like a small baby in a cradle. Okay, so that is I hope you get the difference between śaraṇāpattiḥ and atma-nivedanam. So for us sadhakas, śaraṇāpattiḥ is more relevant, is highly relevant, because we should always assume, we should obviously do our activities, go about our business, whatever we are doing, and know that somehow or the other, the Lord will protect me. Okay, so action by body, minds, and words is not forbidden in śaraṇāpattiḥ. And of course, it has to be only favorable actions, not unfavorable. So one must do favorable. You cannot go around and steal or do theft or do a crime and then expect that the Lord will protect. Or start driving through a red signal and expect that the Lord will protect. If you drive through a red signal or don't stop at stop sign, there will be an accident. And then don't say, where is the Lord's protection? Narasimha Purana, the Lord said that, I will protect, but Lord didn't protect. So you must not do such activities that are favorable. And also the devotee realizes that even my self-maintenance is arranged by the Lord. I have to do some small actions to make it happen. But at a large level, there is an overlap with atma-nivedanam. In atma-nivedanam, the Lord completely takes care of the devotee. Here he arranges for the framework of self-maintenance. He leaves a little bit for you to do. Okay, so ultimately you have to go do your self-maintenance, but he will take care of the majority of the aspects and make it very easy for you to maintain yourself. So that is Lord's shelter. So there is that level of overlap. Okay, devotee does not take unnecessary risks and then say, Hari bol, I will cross the red light. No, don't do that. So don't take unnecessary risk that, Lord will protect. It's red signal and I will just cross. So don't take unnecessary risks. But if due to some unfortunate situation, you land in trouble, then the devotee calls for the Lord's protection and has faith. Rakshishyati iti vishvaso. Has faith that the Lord will protect. So this is śaraṇāpattiḥ. Okay. Any questions? So as you can see here, so many of these bullets I have taken from various commentaries. So there is a very nice verse on Sharanagati, and it in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and it goes like Anukulyasya sankalpah pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishvaso goptripte varnam tatha atma-nivedanam karpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. So all 6 of those are included here in these bullets. So doing favorable actions and not doing unfavorable actions. Okay, so that is anukulyasya sankalpah pratikulyasya varjanam. Rakshishyati iti vishvaso. So when you land in, or when devotee lands in trouble, he calls for the Lord's protection and has vishvas that Lord will protect, knowing that the Lord will protect. Goptritve varnam tatha, that the Lord has arranged the whole framework for my maintenance. I may have to do little bit, but ultimately the Lord has arranged for all the self-maintenance. Just like even the gopis, every day they would cook, they would do activities, you know, but the Lord has arranged for, do you think the Lord will not arrange for his dear devotees in Vrindavan? But they would go do all these activities, go cow herd the cows, milk the cows, you know, all those things, but there was never any famine or any of those kind of things were never there. The Lord has arranged very nicely for their maintenance. That is Goptritve Varnam Tatha. Then Atma-nivedanam, completely taking shelter of the Lord's protection, completely under the shelter of the Lord's. And Karpanye. Karpanye means, where is it written? I am, oh, yeah, this last one I missed highlighting. The devotee realizes that except for the Lord, he himself or anyone else is incapable of providing protection. That is Karpanya. Feeling helpless. That my protection is, you know, I'm incapable. Only the Lord can protect. Just like Prahlada Maharaj. It was not on his own strength that he was protecting himself. It was on the Lord's strength that he was protected. And that is why when Hiranyakashipu asked, where are you getting the strength? So much strength. I'm trying to kill you in 200 different ways and you're not dying. What is making you strong? So he didn't say that, you know, because of my bhakti or because of I'm such a great devotee. He said that my strength and your strength, the source is the same, which is Lord Shri Vishnu. So that is śaraṇāpattiḥ. Okay. Any questions? Yes, Surya Narayan Prabhu.
Prabhuji, last bullet, by some unfortunate cause. What is that unfortunate cause?
If the devotee lands in trouble, he's not trying to get into trouble. That is the main point. He doesn't take unnecessary risks, but still you can land in trouble because of some other demoniac, you know, other people's activities or other things. Then he has full faith that the Lord will protect him. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Devotee tries to lead a simple life, trouble-free life, and generally there are no troubles if you keep your expectations modest. As you all know, if you have lower expectations, you will always be happy. So devotees are happy because their expectations from the material world are minimal. So they are always happy. So that is the way of saying, don't take unnecessary risks for, you know, too much material gain. Then there will be problems. So don't take material risks and spend your time and energy in bhakti. So now we completed all the limbs of bhakti which are related to the mind. Now we are going to tadiyanam sevanam. Tadiyanam sevanam means seva or service of those or to those entities who are related to the Lord. So there are 4 limbs in this category. So seva of Tulasi, śāstrasya, Mathurā-seva, and Vaishnava-seva. So these are the 4 in this category of tadiyanam sevanam. So first one is Tulasī-seva. So limb number 53 is service to Tulsi Devi. So Tulasī-seva is very, very important, and devotees must do seva of Tulsi Maharani as much as possible. So I again want to remind, for those of you who may be looking to have Tulsi ji in your home, you can contact Madhav Gauranga Prabhu, at least in those living in Portland. In summer, he may have small Tulsi plants. Don't pluck the leaves, and even after offering, don't crush them and make tea out of it or anything like that. Technically speaking, it should not be even used in Ayurvedic medicine. Just like in Ayurvedic medicine, we don't use gelatin and all. Every time you buy some medicines, capsule, let us say doctor has told you to take vitamin B or whatever, iron capsule. Always look at these days on the bottle, you will see that the capsule is made of gelatin. It has a ingredient, which is made of cows. I don't know which part of cows, I think intestine or some flesh.
It's a pork, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Pork.
Okay. So yeah, so it is basically meat or animal. So we don't use that, but you may have to pay a little extra, and there it will say vegan capsules. So a lot of these things come in that format, and you should use those. So Tulsi, even if it is medicine, Tulsi has a lot of medicinal properties, but don't use it as part of your Ayurvedic things because they crush it and put it in the powder form. So Tulsi, is okay to eat whole leaf after offering to the Lord. Okay, and if you want leaves, just Tulsi leaves, dry leaves are also okay. You can offer to the Lord as bhoga, and Madhav Gauranga Prabhu can give you a whole packet of dry leaves. It will last for 3 months. So all that should be and can be done. So don't make tea out of it. Don't boil it. Don't crush it. Swallow it. You can wash it and swallow it whole. Okay. And if it's hard to just swallow, you can just gulp it with some water or yogurt. So 203, 204, 205, 3 verses are there for Tulasī-seva. All are then from Skand Puran. And 203rd verse talks about Tulasī-seva and its benefits. So very nice points are mentioned in this verse, Tulasī-seva. So I will, So seeing, so many aspects are mentioned here. Seeing Tulasi destroys all sins. Touching her purifies the body. Bowing down to Tulasi destroys all suffering. Sprinkling her with water delivers one from death. Planting her bestows attachment of the mind to Kṛṣṇa. And offering her to the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa bestows special liberation in the form of Kṛṣṇa Prem. So these are the benefits and the ways of serving Tulsi Maharani. You can serve in so many ways, and the corresponding benefits one gets. Okay. So again, one should serve Tulsi Maharani in any and all possible ways. Then in the next 2 verses, Sri Rupa Goswami mentions, again from Skand Puran, 9 processes. Now today we will see 2 different 9 processes, not Navadha Bhakti like Shravanam Kirtanam, but 9 specific processes of daily Tulasī-seva. So here is how you can do the daily Tulasī-seva. So many of you may be doing it, seeing, touching, meditating, glorifying. So when you do Tulasī-arti in the morning, you are doing all of these, offering obeisances, praising, planting, serving, worshipping. And serving is done by all the other activities that you are doing, you are serving. So if you do all the others, you serve. By seeing, touching, meditating, glorifying is all called serving. And worshipping, if you do Tulasī-arti, you are worshipping. So I have a question. How do you plant Tulsi every day? Now these are daily Tulasī-seva. So do you plant Tulsi every day? Then we have too much Tulsi.
If we keep on watering, it is like.
Very nice. So Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also asks this question in his commentary. How does one plant Tulsi every day? So he says the meaning is that you take care of Mother Tulsi, you water, you provide manure, and all those other things. And every day it should grow a little bit. As long as the Tulsi is growing a little bit every day, it is as good as planting. Okay, so as long as new Tulsi leaves are coming, new manjaris are coming, then you are planting. It's as good as planting Tulsi every day. All right. Okay, next one we will go to śāstrasya sevanaṁ. So this is very, very important, as you can understand. So this is related to one of the limbs. 43rd limb was Shravanam, one of the limbs of the ears. So remember, we did all the limbs of the eyes, ear, nose, tongue. So one of them was Shravanam, from the ear. And this is related to that Shastra Seva, because one of the main things that you do with Shastra is to hear the Shastra. But this is a more complete, it is a superset. So hearing will be a part of it, but many other things. So Shastra Sevanam. So Sri Rupa Goswami has dedicated 5 verses to this limb of bhakti, śāstrasya sevanam. Service to the scriptures, that is the meaning. Then the question becomes, which scriptures? So which scriptures are to be understood when it says śāstrasya sevanam? Which shastra? So Sri Rupa Goswami mentions in the definition of śāstrasya sevanam only those shastra which explain Kṛṣṇa Bhakti. Okay, and when it is mentioned Kṛṣṇa Bhakti, Kṛṣṇa, the name Kṛṣṇa is an upalakshana. It also means Lord Ram, Lord Narsingha, and all the other Vaishnava Bhakti scriptures. Okay, so Ramayana, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Narsingha Purana, all those, whatever Vaishnava scriptures that help to cultivate bhakti for Kṛṣṇa or one of his incarnations is included in this limb of bhakti. And one can read unlimitedly, no limitation. Some Srila Prabhupada never said, don't read so and so. On the contrary, he says you must read the bhakti literatures and the commentaries, etc., left behind by our previous wonderful acharyas. Recently, this has become more of a thing that, oh, don't read this, don't read. Kind of, you should only read this or that. I feel personally, my opinion is that is because those people who are saying that have themselves not read it, and those that they are guiding, they are saying don't read, because they know if they ask a question to them, they will not be able to answer. So better tell them to not read at all. So if, to avoid hard questions. So that is the symptom of a poor teacher or a poor guide. You yourself are not making progress, and you are stopping your people who are under your care from making progress, even if they want to. A good teacher should allow the student to move forward. Yes, you may not have the capacity to do it yourself. Why should you stop somebody else? Let them become. And there's a saying in Hindi, Guru Guru reh gaye aur chela ho gaye chini. That the Guru, maybe, he's not very capable, and the student became even more capable than the teacher. And that's fine. Maybe the teacher can then, learn from the student later on. And the symptom of a good student is that if he has learned something which did not get taught from his teacher, he should come back and offer it to his guru or to his teacher. That here is something new I learned from a different source. I offer it to you. Just like a son, if he has earned more than his father, so he doesn't claim it as his own. A good son will bring his earnings even when, if they are more than his father's earnings, he will come and give it to his father. So, and the father will very happily return it back to the child, of course. But that is the mood in which, so there should not be any limitation in reading Bhakti Shastri. So I have included this verse. There are 3 verses, 207, 208, 209, very nice verses. So I included the Sanskrit and the translation here to relish the significance or the importance of Śāstrasya. So it mentions 4 different ways of how to do Śāstrasya. So we can read this. Vaishnavani tu Śāstrāni ye shrinuvanti pathanti cha dhyanaste manava loke tesam Kṛṣṇa prasidati. So Vaishnavani tu Śāstrāni. What Shastras? Vaishnava Shastras. Ye shrinuvanti pathanti cha. Those who hear and study. Shrinuvanti means hear. Pathanti means study, which means a deeper level of hearing. You hear, you go back, you understand, analyze, connect the dots, all those things. What? Vaishnava Shastra. Dhanyas te manava loke. So they are dhanya, they are fortunate. Tesam Kṛṣṇa prasidati. And Kṛṣṇa is pleased with them. Tesam means with them. Kṛṣṇa prasidati. Kṛṣṇa is happy with them. Vaishnavani tu Śāstrāni ye archayanti grihe narah. So they do archana. So those who worship Vaishnava Shastra in their homes, in their griha. Sarva papa vinirmukta bhavanti suravanditah. They attain freedom from sins. And bhavanti suravanditah. They become worshipable by the suras. Sura means the demigods. Like asura is demons, sura is demigods or devatas. So bhavanti suravanditah. They become worshipable by the demigods. Tishthate Vaishnavam Shastram Likhitam Yasya Mandire. So Tishthate Vaishnavam Shastram Likhitam Yasya Mandire. Those who keep a written copy, or maybe those who make a copy by their own. So in the olden times, you had to make a copy. There was no printing press. So they make a copy of, handwritten copy of the Shastra. So those who keep a written copy of the Vaishnava Shastra in their temple, Tatra Narayano Devas Vayam Vasati Narada. Lord Narayana personally resides there, O Narada. So these are 4 ways: hearing, studying, worshipping, and keeping a copy in your temple. So these are the ways of doing Shastra Seva. Okay. And then Sri Rupa Goswami, so these are the ways of doing Shastra Seva. And in the previous verse, 206, he mentioned that what kind of scriptures? Those that explain Kṛṣṇa Bhakti, the significance, the process, etc. of Kṛṣṇa Bhakti. That is the meaning of Shastra. But then among all of them, the special position of Srimad Bhagavatam is mentioned in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. And this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 13th chapter, last chapter. So last chapter is basically glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. You should read this chapter, it just has beautiful verses glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam. So very, very nice chapter. So 15th verse. So it goes like this. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Śrī Bhagavatam ishyate tad-arthe Nānyatra syad ratih kvachit. So Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi. It's the essence, sar of Sarva Vedanta, of all Vedanta. So what is the sar or essence of all Vedanta? Śrī Bhagavatam Ishyate. This Srimad Bhagavatam is that essence of all Vedanta. Tad-arthe, one who has first of all rasa amrita, has drank the juice, the sweet nectar of that and become tripta and has been satisfied by it, by that sweet nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Na anyatra tad-arthe kvachid. He will not have the desire to taste anything else. All his desires are fulfilled. So the Srimad Bhagavatam has the capacity to fully satisfy, completely satisfy all desires of all human beings. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam is such a scripture. That is the special position of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it BRS 12210 or 211? Because we did 27 to 29, 209.
Yeah, maybe it is 210. Yeah, 210. Yeah, 210. So I need to fix that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Good catch. Let me fix it. Okay, there you go. Fixed. Thank you. Okay, so 210. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the primary Vaishnava Shastra. Primary Vaishnava Shastra. Okay, all other Vaishnava Shastras like Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, even Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so many other, all the Goswami's Shastras, they are ultimately based on the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Shat Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami, everything is based on Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the root, the most fundamental Shastra, and we should all, go through the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, next is a discussion question. How can one do śāstrasya? So we read 4 things, but I want some more thoughts. So since śāstrasya is such an important aspect, it is one of the 5 limbs. Bhagavat Shravan it will be, so it is technically the 43rd one, but still it is related to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are the various ways in which one can do Shastra Seva? So any thoughts? The most obvious one is reading or hearing, that is true. Anything else comes to mind? How to do Shastra Seva? And it could, be a nice exercise for you to contemplate or think about, and maybe, something will come out of it. So anybody wants to think and give some ideas or thoughts?
To promote circulation among masses.
Very good. So distribution or circulation, very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we can follow the Shastras and then we can be the model for the future generation.
Very nice. So applying the Shastra, I see in the chat also, Mataji is, Amal Bhakti Mataji is saying, applying the Shastra, so becoming like, okay, not just I'm an expert reciter or I have memorized or I can do a debate and defeat you. All that moods can be there, but the best mood is to apply the Shastra in your own life and be a walking example. Live your, walk your talk. Very nice. What else?
Prabhuji, preaching and discussing Shastra among like-minded devotees.
Very nice, very nice. So 2 different things actually. They are little different. Discussing among like-minded devotees is one thing. To deepen one's own understanding of the Shastra and to be an instrument in other devotees deepening and their understanding of their understanding of the Shastra. That is one. And a separate one is to share with others. Kirtana. So Shravana is your hearing, and Kirtana means to speak the Shastra to others, to make them aware of what is there in the Shastra. Kalyani Mataji, are you saying something?
No, Prabhuji, sorry.
Anything else? Are those the only ways?
Prabhuji also do
Senior
some
devotees.
Yes, Shalu Mataji, and then Surya.
like do some little dramas and play out the activities that are mentioned of Lord in the Shastras.
Very nice. Enacting the various pastimes in the Shastra. Okay, very good. Yes, Surya Narayan Prabhu.
Hearing the discourses of senior devotees
Sure, hearing. So that
in
is
temples.
sure, hearing the discourses on what else?
Well maintaining and protecting Shastras.
Very nice. What was the first thing you said?
Well maintaining.
Maintaining and protecting the Shastra. Very, very important. How do you think Srimad Bhagavatam and all is available to us in 2024? Do you think, there is some automatic, some right that Srimad Bhagavatam shall never become, extinct? No. Lot of devotees have given their lives to protect the Shastra. And there are some Shastras which are lost, which are not available anymore. For example, Brahma Samhita, we only have the 5th chapter. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on his South India trip to Adi Keshav temple, and from there he extracted, the only available chapter was the 5th chapter. And it was the only copy in the whole world. And he got that, and then his, disciples and all made so many copies and, commentaries. And now we have the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. Others are lost. So Shastras have been lost. Like, just today we saw that verse from Mahabharata. It was there at Rupa Goswami's time. Today we cannot trace it in Mahabharata. So protecting and preserving the Shastra is a very important seva. What is that? In Calcutta, there is this Bhakti Vinod Research Center, I think. One of their activities is they have so many writings of past acharyas, and they are rotting, and paper doesn't stay. It will decay in 100, 200, 300 years. We are talking in order of 100 years magnitude. So they're, preserving, they're digitizing that, all those things are being done. Other ideas? There are more ways to do Shastra Seva. Exercise your mind.
Starting Veda schools and teaching them.
Teaching them, okay, through schools or through, small group discussions, whatever. Yeah, so teaching is a large. So let us see. So I have written down some. So read and hear. We understand that. Reading, hearing, Shravana. Study, Pathan. Speak, Kirtana, narrate. And if you cannot speak your own way, you can just repeat. Speak, narrate, repeat. Worship. We saw that in the previous verses that it was written that who keeps a written copy in the temple and worships Lord Narayan personally resides there. So worshipping. Then as Ashish Vyas Prabhu mentioned, preserving the Shastra, very important. I was mentioning this BRC, Bhakti Vinod Research Center in Calcutta. It is a branch of Iskcon. Also, like if you see, many times I look for some old Shastra, like Hari Parshad Prabhu has done a lot of scanning, and he has uploaded it on this website called archive.org. That is a good form of preservation. This website.
Prabhuji, we can follow and practicing the Shastras. They are eternal. And But people can create everything nowadays, but shastras are created so many ancient age like that.
Yes.
That is my understanding.
Thank you. So I was speaking about preserving, like Haripal. So he's uploading on this website called archive.org. It is a website, and it's not just a website, it is a collection of servers, replicated servers in multiple areas in the world. And the idea is that if you upload anything there, the hope is that it will stay there forever. Even if a nuclear holocaust, a nuclear doomsday arrives, still whatever is stored on those servers, since they are heavily replicated and those servers are present in some very remote areas, like, you know, on the North Pole or South Pole, and here in the mountains or there and there, they have copies and redundancy of the data on those servers. So anything important that one feels, one should upload there, and the hope is that it will, and it is funded by some billionaires to preserve human knowledge, so to say. So again, preservation of human knowledge is important, and our shastras are very much at the top of that list. What else? Restoration, so is very important. So of Shastra, sometimes we see a page is missing, or a page has been destroyed or something. You go find another copy, you restore, and all that restoration. Another important thing is translation. How many of us would be able to access Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ if English translation was not available? I have the Sanskrit, but I cannot understand like even 5% of it. Once I have the English translation, then I can go back into the Sanskrit and make sense and, kind of relish the Sanskrit words. That's what the Sanskrit meaning is of this English translation. So translation is very important. There are people with different languages in the world. So helping in the translations, and there are many.
Sanskrit will be better to understand, Prabhuji.
Yeah, but it is said 12 years to learn Sanskrit properly with dedication. So it's not a small task. Yes, it is best to understand in the direct root language, but it's not in everybody's capacity. And it does not mean that then all that huge group of people should be shut out of these Shastra. The purpose of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ and Srimad Bhagavatam is not to teach Sanskrit. The purpose is to teach Bhakti. So, all the disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would give discourses on Bhagavatam in Bengali. So Sanskrit is the Mool language, agreed, but translation and dissemination of that in the local languages is very, very important. And many devotees are doing the translation work. Like you can see, at least Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's BBT edition is translated into so many languages, at least 20-30 languages it's available. One can argue that maybe there are some mistakes here and there, or something is there, but still it's a pretty good, decent translation. And then proofreading, editing, it requires that heavy, work. So there are many devotees that are involved in that. For example, if you remember Harivamsh Prabhu, who had visited Portland last year, he's heavily involved in proofreading, editing, and of some direct works from Sanskrit, because he's expert in Sanskrit, into English. And many devotees, many senior sannyasis like Bhanu Swami and Shivaram Swami are doing translations of Sanskrit works into English. And he is helping in the proofreading, editing, and all those activities. Then publishing, and publishing takes money. So if not anything else, one can, donate money for the sake of publishing. It takes money to publish. And even in the world of online today, let's forget paper. So it's not about the cost of paper, but just the resources needed to, because if some devotees are doing full-time job to do this editing, translation, proofreading, they need to survive, like the BRC, Bhakti Vinod Research Center. Devotees are working there full time. I know one devotee, Balram Leela Prabhu, he worked in Microsoft or something, very good job in Seattle. He left the job and now he's working full time. Now he has to at least eat and, have basic maintenance taken care. So all that counts as part of the publishing of the Shastra. So one can support that. And of course, then in the distribution. So there are so many ways, and there are many other ways, like I didn't write, like applying it on your own life, becoming an example. So all those are meaningful ways of śāstrasya. Okay. And then one is left. Which one? To create, write, compose Shastra. Now again, this is not for everyone. For very advanced devotees, they can create, write, compose Shastra. The tradition must continue. Okay. So, the tradition didn't stop at Srimad Bhagavatam. Our Acharyas wrote new Shastra, plus they wrote commentaries on existing Shastra. Srila Prabhupada himself wrote commentaries on so many Shastras. And his disciples, so many disciples are writing new books, just not translations, like Bhanu Swami and Shivram Swami are writing translations. They're also writing some new books. Like Radhanath Maharaj has this book, Journey Home, Journey Within. So many other senior devotees have, new works coming out of their own realizations. So writing, creating, composing is also Shastra Seva. Okay, next one. Mathurāyāḥ sevanam. So seva of Mathurā-maṇḍala or Mathurā-dham. So again, from here there's 211. So previous one was 210. So 11, 12, 13, 3 verses. So service to Mathurā-maṇḍala, same as Vraja-maṇḍala. Mathura does not mean just Mathura. It means the entire Mathurā-maṇḍala or Vraja-maṇḍala. And this one is one of the 5 most important limbs. First time we are covering this. Which we will cover hopefully next time, the last 5. We are getting there. So one must always reside in and serve Mathura and other holy places related to Sri Krishna. So when it is said Mathurā-maṇḍala, yes, the Vraja-maṇḍala is the best or the topmost, but also included are Jagannath Puri, Mayapur Dham, Dwarka Dham, Badrinath, where Bhagavatam was written, composed by Vyasadeva, and so many other places. So all those one must reside and serve. And how can we serve Mathura Dham? And, one can do so much seva there. Since the specific topic is mathurāyāḥ sevanam. So, now these days, due to whatever the Kali Yuga, it's getting dirty. So there is external dirt. Of course, internally it is pure. So one can help in the cleaning of the dham, or one can help with various devotees who come to the dham for their, arrange for their comforts or their, nice, comfortable travel to the dham, enabling various facilities and so on. In the olden days, one could sponsor, Pyau, it was called, water, clean drinking water stations. So, a lot of diseases are caused by contaminated water. So many ways to. And what are the benefits of residing? So reside and serve. Benefits of residing in a dham. The most important benefit of residing in dham is the access to devotees. One goes to dham for 2 purposes. First purpose is to access or to get the association of devotees. And the second purpose is to get the access or the association of the deities. First is devotee, then deity. Okay, keep that in order, mind. So first, if you have to go to a dham, if you know who to meet or who is coming, that is the first thing you should look at. Many people look at, oh, I have to, visit this temple, this temple, this temple, click photo, photo, photo. That is fine. But first thing is to meet devotees. So those are the two primary objectives of visiting Dham. And the benefit is residence in Mathura provides bliss of Krishna Prema. In the practical sense, it reminds us of the Leelas of Krishna. So for example, in Vrindavan, there are so many places of Leelas of Bhagavan and his devotees. So you can go to those places and then you'll never forget those Leelas. Okay. It's 6:43. So we'll stop here. So last one, 9 processes. Again, first we had 9 processes of Tulasī-seva. We have 9 processes of Mathurā-maṇḍala seva. So the 9 processes of Mathurā-maṇḍala seva, this is composed by Śrī Gosvami himself. And he says that I wanted to write a lot more about the 9 processes, but the book will become very big. So I'm just listing down the 9 processes. So it's just a list. We don't have a description. For that, we can read other works of our Goswamis. So hearing about the Dham, this you can do from remote. You don't have to be in the Dham. You can do it from remote. Remembering the Dham, after visiting, coming back, remember the Dham. Glorify the Dham to others, to yourself, so that you are inspired to go again, so that you inspire others to go again. Desiring to be in the Dham, very important. So all these 4 can be done from remote. All right. And then the remaining 5, 4 plus 5 is 9, can be done in the Dham. Okay, so both are mentioned, what you can do remotely and what you can do physically. Seeing the Dham, now one can argue, one can see the Dham from remote, but it's okay. Seeing the Dham, visiting the Dham, touching the Dham, taking the dust and putting it in your head, taking shelter of the Dham, which means maybe for advanced devotees, permanently staying there, taking shelter of the Dham, and finally serving the Dham, doing some seva to the Dham. And when we say doing the seva, ultimately it is seva to the devotees who visit the Dham. So when you do the seva of the Dham, ultimately you are doing seva of the devotees so that they can have a nice, these aspects, visit, touch, take shelter, they are enabled to do that in a nice way. So you can be an instrument for the devotees, which is the next topic, Vaishnava Seva. Very important topic. That's one little bit long. I can start it, but it will go on for at least 20 minutes. So I will stop here. Any questions? Okay, so let us see, nothing on the chat either. Okay. All right. So we will stop here. Tomorrow is the most beautiful festival of, at least in the US, we are celebrating tomorrow. I don't know in India when, maybe today or tomorrow, we are celebrating Gaur Purnima, which is the appearance day of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please, we wish you all a very, very happy Gaur Purnima festival. Holi, festival of colors, also celebrated on same day. So you can, celebrate, remember Lord Gaurachandra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and enjoy Holi at the same time. And okay, yeah, so wish you all a very happy Gaur Purnima and Holi festival. One of the things will be to celebrate festivals nicely. That's also coming up in the next few ones. So celebrate Gaur Purnima with a lot of enthusiasm, lot of happiness, and participate. And if you don't have a temple nearby or anything, at least in your home, pull up a picture on the internet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pull up a picture of Pancha Tattva in Mayapur Dham. It's the huge deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the birthplace itself, which is the festival tomorrow. So pull up that picture on the internet, on your browser, and another thing you can do is read some chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Read the first couple of chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita if you haven't done. It's free, available on Veda Base. So all these things you can do tomorrow, if at a minimum, just on your computer. So all that is. And if you have temple, if you have facility, celebrate with great joy and great enthusiasm. Go visit and have a lot of with love, not just gana bajana and not just jumping and not just like materialistic fun, which is nice, but keep that bhav in mind that this is the birthday of our dear Lord Shri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is no different than Krishna. Yes, Madhi Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So tomorrow is appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gaur Purnima. So I am at the temple. So can I give darshan to everyone because we have Pancha Tattva at the temple?
Oh, wonderful! Yes, yes. So let me see. You can turn on your video, right?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yes.
Wonderful. So Mataji is
Yeah,
at Laguna Beach in Los Angeles area. Let me tell you. Right there. Let me see if I can pin it. There we go. And this is the only temple I know. Jai Sri Pancha Tattva ki Jai.
Jai.
So you can see here, even though in our Portland temple, the presiding deities are Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. In Laguna Beach temple, it's the only temple I know in United States which has the full Pancha Tattva on their altar as the presiding deities. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for this wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Jai, you made our day. Wonderful. Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, Jagat Guru
Jai.
ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Hare.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanvatna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.